G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Well, Adam finally released the video that I've been waiting a long time for him to do. I've been asking him to release the McCandless one for a long time, ever since his channel went away. And finally Adam's seen sense.
Today we're going back to the 80s. A different time, a different place. A time of Airfix models and Jetpack spaceman. What a time! And today's hero of heliocentric space is Bruce McCandless. Bruce is in his white astronaut outfit on the right hand side as we look at it. And as you can see, Bruce is getting on a bit, even back then, doing his mission before he donned the famous Jetpack outfit and entered into heliocentric space. Bruce is quite clear to see is getting on a bit. The incredible Jetpack man that is Bruce McCandless. Let's check out Bruce here in this first shot as he does a flyby Namibia, which strangely enough seems to be taking up about a third of the so-called globe Earth. Of course, we know it's GoPro.
Oh Adam, you really need to look at this little diagram. See this little ring on this diagram? This is how much of the Earth's surface can be seen from the ISS. It's not actually that much, it actually turns out to be around only 3%. That's all you're expecting to see from the space shuttle, which is round about the same sort of orbital height. Gee, Adam, what are you going to do next? This is going to be so much fun.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on, but let's have a look at Bruce do an incredible flyby.
Well look, I might just stop here, and before I even watch this, I just want to pause and remind everybody that Adam had a lot of trouble identifying this piece of coastline. He even mentioned it in 2 separate videos that he couldn't find it. Here, let's have a listen to the poor boy really struggling to try and figure out what this piece of land was.
So please, if you're able to identify this bit of land that takes up this massive bit of the supposed spinning globe Earth, please can you let me know in the comments section, because I cannot find that landmass, as I've stated previously in the other video. Now before we play this extra bit of footage that I found, again I'm asking for help in identifying this mysterious bit of land that no one can identify. If you're able to identify this bit of land that takes up this massive bit of the supposed spinning globe Earth, please can you let me know in the comments section.
Oh Adam, I'm so impressed. Not only have I taught you how to measure the speed of the ISS, but I've also taught you this is Namibia. Well done, Adam. Now, do we all need to quake and shudder? Because this is going to be the bad day, right?
And when we do locate that landmass, it's obviously going to be a very bad day for the NASA pantomime company, because we're going to put all the bits and pieces together and destroy it. We have already.
In space, alone and untethered, in full control of his movements, traveling over 17,000 miles an hour, 150 miles above the Earth.
We sure have a nice flying machine here.
Cool as a cucumber.
Maintain an even strain.
Cool as a cucumber. He's in his 50s or nearly 50, travelling over 17,000 miles an hour.
Oh Adam, of course Bruce is as cool as a cucumber. He's an astronaut, he's a test pilot. These guys are built on doing these sorts of things. They're not like some person who just climbs up a flimsy old crane every day and hangs on for dear life. Oh, and don't forget, he's flying a lot higher and a lot faster than your precious SR-71 too, Adam. So is that where you're going to go with this? Let's just hold on to the seat of our pants, guys, because I have a feeling that might be where Adam's going to go.
Now, if he was to remain level on a ball, Bruce here, based on an hour, I think this EVA was 5 hours, 55 minutes long. Obviously, I didn't expect him to be 5 hours away from the spacecraft. But let's assume Bruce was an hour away from the spacecraft, untethered in his jetpack here, right? Travelling at 17,000 miles an hour. According to the globe mass, based on the Earth curve calculator, which struggles at bigger distances, admittedly. But just to get some basic averages, according to that, he'd be encountering ridiculous amounts of curvature per hour. I don't entirely know exactly what's going on. Every second, on average, Bruce would have to drop 3.7 miles per second whilst travelling 17,000 miles an hour to remain level going round a ball on his orbit.
Well, hold on there, Adam. No, he only has to drop that if he's flying in a straight line. But he's not. He's in orbit, right beside the space shuttle, travelling in a circular orbit, and that orbit is changing by, 4 degrees per minute? 90 minutes into 360? Yeah, 4 degrees per minute. That sounds right. So, dear boy, all he has to be doing is orbiting the Earth and remaining the same distance above it. It's super easy, barely an inconvenience. Let's see where Adam takes this for his fanboys now.
So Bruce was doing 17,000 miles an hour round a ball, dropping on average 3 miles per second, and somehow avoiding all of that around a globe Earth.
Adam, with regards to space junk, you do know that the ISS is at the 400 kilometre orbit for a reason. That's because at that level, the space junk doesn't hang around very long because there is just enough drag to deorbit anything that's in the orbit. In effect, the orbit is rather self-cleaning at that level. It does mean that the ISS needs a reboost every now and again to stay in orbit because it too is slowing down. And this is a graph of how often they have to do that. Sometimes they have to slow the ISS down to avoid a piece of space junk, Adam. Did you know they did that? See, right here where the arrow's pointing, that's what they had to do. They had to drop the level of the orbit slightly to avoid something. So, Adam, there is space junk there, but they just know how to avoid it. And of course, Adam, space junk is not such a big problem because space is big. Just won't believe how vast, huge, mind-bogglingly big it is. I mean, you may think it's a long way down the road to the chemist, Adam, but that's just peanuts to space.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on. Bruce is quite clear to see is getting on a bit. He's in his 50s or nearly 50 to remain level round the ball. And there he is, in his 50s or late 40s.
Adam, are you losing your nerve, mate? You have mentioned that Bruce is 50 plus too many times. Have you just turned 50 also, Adam? Is facing your fears too much? Can you no longer bear looking down from 100 feet up, watching the load swing back and forth and wondering, how do I stop that load swing? I'm sure they taught you how to do it during crane driver training. Remember, Adam, many of these astronauts were former military test pilots. They don't lose their cool easily. In virtually any situation, they will remain as cool as ice. They don't want to punch their computer screens when they see something they don't like on YouTube. Just because you would go all wobbly at the knees in that situation does not mean everybody else will. I think you're better off sticking with the cranes, mate.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on. The globe's scientifically impossible anyway.
Oh, Adam, you say that any time you feel like you haven't been convincing enough. And I guess you haven't, have you? I think you're going to have to try a little bit harder, Adam.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on.
I really don't know what happened to the bad day for the NASA fanboys. Where is it, Adam? We're still waiting. You've left us hanging yet again. All you've given us was a little bit of all scary space junk and an astronaut as cool as a cucumber under pressure. Wow, mate. How ridiculous. What a pantomime you've just created, mate. Look, just so you can catch your breath, Adam, I think this is what you need to look at now. Have a look at our little JAXA astronaut up there. I'm glad you put me onto him because he is doing some really good stuff. And he's even gone and played with some ping pong balls for me. How about that? Sorry, Adam, ping pong balls in space? You're done and dusted yet again, mate.
オレンジ色の玉が出てきました。卓球のサイズぐらいまでしましょう。一人卓球ですからね。いくぞ。ボヨン。わあ、しまった。しまったしまったしまったしまった。 強く打ちすぎるとダメだということがよく分かりました。やり直しです。いくぞ。サーブボヨンヨンヨンヨン。えいまあこれテフロン加工でこう弾くんですけど、やっぱりねうまくやるとついちゃうのね。こっち側にねついちゃったやつはえい。さあどうだ、いくぞ。サーブボヨン。これぐらいかな、これくらいだ。おお、こんな感じですね。はいはいはい、行きました。そしてこっちに移ってきてポヨン。そしてこっちに移ってきてポヨン。わおー